Craig Robinson plays Craig on the Peacock comedy series Killing It. I'm Matt Noble of Gold Derby, and I wanted to ask you, Craig, what is the wildest thing you got to do on Killing It?
Oh, they created a hurricane. So it was these gigantic fans, about 3 or 4 of them, and I mean, they were gigantic. So, and then it was raining, then they added water, and it was cold outside. So it was wild, because you can't remember your lines, let alone hear what the other actors saying. It was wild. It was about as wild as it got. Wilder than snakes.
Yeah, and they saved that for the season final, so they really saved the best for last.
Yeah, it was something else. I see you got the snake in the background.
Yeah, I haven't measured the footage of it, so not sure how good it would go in the comp.
Right on.
What for you? Like, particularly in a show that does have such absurdity and wild moments, while at the same time there's some real sort of tenderness to the show. How do you sort of vacillate between those two sort of gears?
It's really, just following the writing and just playing everything real and genuine in the moment. It's even if it was funny, it was heartfelt, whatever. I always play it straight. You always just come with you start from that place where you make the connection with your scene partner, and then go from there. So it's always about connection. It's always about being genuine.
Yeah. And talking about scene partners, you share a lot of scenes with Claudia O'Doherty that plays Gillian in the show. How did you work at getting that chemistry right and working with her and collaborating with her?
She's automatic. She's well aware. It's striking to me how just aware she is of her comedy, who she is comedically, and then we just mixed. Well, I don't know what to. We had chemistry when she auditioned over Zoom, and we had a nice chemistry. And she jumped off the screen to me like, this is the one. So I think we just connected, and it's a mutual respect, almost like somebody you already worked with. Like when I work with if I was to go do something with Seth Rogen and all those guys, that's like, each other, and you know how to get in and get yours, kind of thing. So we instantly had this connection, Claudia and I.
The dynamics between your two characters in the show changes throughout the course of the season. Like, seeing the scenes with you in the pilot, there's a different energy to the scenes in the season final. Do you have to approach the scenes differently as that develops, or is it the same?
Well, it's the same as the being genuine answer. Some of these things you shoot out of order. Like the first 3 episodes, we were shooting. We did that all the way throughout. You cross shooting, so you might be shooting the first week, but you're already shooting episode 3. So you just have to be aware, and then you lean on the director to be like, hey, okay, this is what happened. This is where you're going. This is how you feel. So I'm glad you noticed that, because yes, she did win me over throughout the series, to the point where I was like, I see her as a little sister, what have you. But we definitely, have to lean on the director, and you definitely have to, just be paying attention, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you know she is Australian? Did you know that? Like
Claudia?
Yeah.
Claudia?
Yeah.
No. Of course. She's the reason the character wasn't Australian until she auditioned and got it. And it was like, well, and so they were able to write to her beautifully.
Yeah. Have you heard of Anthony Lapaglia? Anthony Lapaglia from, the old Without a Trace? He's Australian too.
Wait, from what is he in?
He's in Without a Trace, that old CBS crime series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sarah Snook, is also Australian.
You know why this is hysterical?
Yeah, Margot Robbie is Australian
She
too.
does the same thing to me in the pilot.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those. I'm not one of
Australians,
those.
y'all give it up for each other, huh?
Yeah. I'm not going to be one of those interviewers that just doesn't talk to you the whole time. What, Greg? What did you find? What was the funniest moment for you in Killing It?
Funniest?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm probably trying to talk through that Trump mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was just a personal thing, you know, because I'm wondering, can you understand the words? And I know I felt ridiculous. I know it looked ridiculous. But you know what? Scott MacArthur, who plays Brock, I don't know if they even got this. I gotta look. But when the fire happened, he ran out of there in his, jock strap. And then instead of just going through the gate, Scott, being the performer that he is, he crawled up the gate and over it. And I happened to look back and see it, and it was, that was genuine tears there.
Oh, that's so good. What about what was it? Was that the funniest moment to film? What do you think the funniest moment to watch in the series was?
The number one funny moment is the guy at the gym. Episode 3, the cold open.
Yeah.
He drops his lucky quarter and his change. Yeah, that was before the show came out. When I would show friends and family, whoever, that's the scene I was showing.
Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge for you in this series?
Learning sign language was a big challenge. I see Dunder Mifflin. Okay, what else you got back there?
Oh, the only things that relate to you are probably the Dunder Mifflin and the snake. Yeah.
The learning sign language for the scene and just making sure that was right. That was important to me. And whenever I got the, Stephanie saying, that I did good, or she would help me. Like I had an ASL teacher, shout out to Rick, and then I would do what Rick said, and then Stephanie would be like, well, I like it like this. So she changed a few words here and there. But for the most part, that was the most challenging, was having to, was getting to learn sign language and yet acting through that.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned the Dunder Mifflin bag. We're an awards website at Gold Derby. We love our Emmy awards in particular. You were part of the office that won Best Comedy Series at the Emmys. What's something you've taken sort of or learnt from that time on The Office, on that show, that informs the way you approach comedy and acting today?
Well, I got to learn how to be part of an ensemble. I got to learn, and then got to learn watching like Steve Carell, or really all the places I've been, guest stars, what have you. I would always kind of clock the number one, the number one person, and it's from the top down is how how good or bad the atmosphere on set is going to be. And I was lucky to see how hard number ones work. So I was pretty much trained. I got to see that they don't get a lot. They got the biggest dressing room, the biggest trailer, but they're never in there because it's just used to go in and change. When you got the small trailer, you're in there all day. But just the lesson is be prepared, be on time, and be respectful and do the best you can. It's all the stuff you learn in kindergarten.
Yeah. What do you think made that show work from a comedy perspective?
The Office?
Yeah.
There's a mixture. It had the awkwardness, the cringe factor. It was so cringy, and then so funny, because so you get to that point where it just tension, release, and then also the heart. and then you just really invested in the characters. They look like people. They weren't like, oh, this is what a Hollywood star looks like. It was all regular people. And then if you had any kind of anything to make fun of, you got made fun of on that show. So it was something people could relate to. They could cringe to. They could cry. They could laugh. It was a big potluck of emotion.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite Daryl moment from The Office?
Maybe when I got drunk and went to confront Jim, and this is right before I did the spin and fell backwards. I went into the room and I saw Jim, and then I just like did this little shimmy move. It still makes me laugh, but it was a small thing, but it was so ridiculous. I love that moment.
And you talked about how in The Office you were sort of part of an ensemble and you learnt the dynamics of that. With Killing It, being in the sort of Steve Carell position, the male lead on the show, what does that like? How do you have to? What have you learnt from stepping into that role and being the sort of the head honcho in the cast?
It's it's a lot of work, a lot of work. It's hard work, but you just hop on there, and I learned that I'm here for it. We were still, no matter what we had to do, whether it's work in a swamp against a tornado, work with animals, and then all doing sign language throughout. I still had the whole van singing on the way to set. It was always connecting more and more. Before I go do a show, before I step on stage, I'm just like, God, let me connect with the crowd. So the connection is the important thing, and that's what we did. We knew we felt like we were making something special, so we all continued to connect.
And what do you think is that special thing about Killing It?
It's again like The Office. It has these different weird characters. It's got the heart to it. It's got the humor. Not a much cringe, and I'm not comparing it to The Office, but it's another potluck of emotion. It's something that we haven't seen a lot of, if at all. A snake hunting, and then finding a way to be funny through that, finding a way to make stories, and the unlikeliest of stories. It's the specialness of Dan and Luke. It's the specialness of Claudia, with her timing, being like, Nicole Kidman. Yeah, she's from Australia.
Yeah, she's from Australia too. Fun facts. Do you have when you're talking about all of that and sort of that specialness of the show, and you are right. I've never seen a comedy before about snake killing. That's something new. Python hunting. Sorry. I'm so sorry. See, now you're teaching me things. Now I'm learning from you. I've never seen a show about python hunting before. So that is something new and original. What you talked about also being on the stage and sort of what have you brought from like experience of being on the stage, of being able to feed off an audience? Like, can you bring stuff into a TV show where you don't have the live audience there and you're sort of performing for cameras and directors?
Well, you do have an audience because you got the, camera department, grip department, hair, makeup, all these people there. So there's some elements of having a captive audience, but they just can't like laugh out loud. So sometimes you have that take where they say cut and everybody cracks up. Those are priceless, but so that would be the element there, when you, so sometimes that stuff seeps in where you play into the crowd, and it's something funny because they laughed out loud once you yell cut. But for the most part, you just trying to connect with your scene partner.
Yeah. Can you think of a moment where cut was yelled in season 1 and everyone just cracked up?
Oh, again, the same scene, episode 3.
Yeah.
The first scene.
Yeah.
That was I think they laughed throughout.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's fantastic. Do you find it hard not to laugh while filming?
Sometimes it's I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I've had my moments, but for the most part, I'm just trying to make sure, I get the words right and connect and get the emotion right. It's a lot of other stuff you be trying to do, but I've definitely had some moments where it's tough to get through. A little better
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And what's something on this show that you've never done before? There's a lot of things I can imagine.
Play with snakes. Never had to fight through a hurricane before. Sign language. Had a pig on the show. Had a dog. I think I might have worked with a dog before. I don't know. It was a lot of firsts on this show.
Yeah. Did you ever have to handle a live snake?
Not really. We had live snakes on set, so I got to play with them a little bit. But we had live snakes, we had fake snakes, and we had CGI snakes. Whenever the live snakes were there, the American Humane Society was there. So no snakes were harmed in the filming of Killian.
Yes, so I imagine that when we saw ones get killed, that it was CGI and television magic.
Right.
How do you feel about snakes, Craig? Are you scared of snakes? Do you love snakes? Like, what's?
No, thanks to Australia, I was there with my band in 2015, I think. We went to Adelaide, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and by the way, they didn't give a dang about The Office. It was all about Brooklyn Nine-Nine in Australia.
Oh yeah,
it was all everywhere. Like I noticed once I went to the second place, it was like Doug Judy. I was like, okay, and then I just started to expect it. But yeah, they were all about Doug Judy and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, to the point where I called Andy. I was like, dude, you got to come to Australia. It's crazy. Love. But we went. My band. We went to the Nasty Delicious. Thank you. We went to an animal sanctuary.
Yeah.
And we saw the cockatoo. Excuse me, allergies.
That's right.
Cockatoo dancing. We had them singing. We were singing. Had them dancing. Little afro popped up. We saw the koala bears. And I held one. I wanted to take it home, but I didn't have the qualifications. And then then we went to see the snakes, and one of my band members had a snake around his neck, and I was not trying to touch a snake. Matter of fact, I got in a picture with him, but I was pretending like I was gonna touch it, so I was in a picture like this. But then something happened. I touched the snake, and I thought it was beautiful, and it felt amazing, and then they put the snake around my neck, and I was like, wow, I'm wrong. This snake has meant me no harm. I've been misled by the Bible and Indiana Jones. And from now on, I think my fear of snakes, unless I was in the wilderness, then I'd probably be, snake! But, when they bring them on set, I was like, oh, yeah. I think I did Drew Barrymore's show, and she brought out some gigantic snakes, and they were cool.
Well, I'm glad that Australia was able to perfectly prepare you for killing it in dealing with snakes, and also I guess you got to meet some Australians there, so it helped you be able to deal with Claudia as well. So fantastic.
Aussie.
Oi.
Australia, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free.
Look at you. You're all over it, Craig. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. People can go to goldderby.com to make your awards predictions and check out other interviews with award contenders. And Craig, all the best of luck for the Emmys this year for killing it. I don't know, you might even be on the ballot for guest actor for the last season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Wow,
Who knows?
Off to God's ears. Let's see, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So all the best for the Emmys for killing it.